Hey there. Tonight we're going to dive deep into one of the most disturbing and unsolved murder cases from the southern United States. It's a case that still gives people chills, not just because of the brutal crime itself, but because of the strange and mysterious circumstances surrounding it. This is the story of the Jamison family murders, an entire family that disappeared in the remote wilderness of Oklahoma, only to be found dead under the most chilling conditions. It all started in October 2009 when Bois, Sherilyn, and their 6-year-old daughter Madyson Jamison packed up their truck and headed out to a remote area in the Bois Mountains, near the town of Eufaula, Oklahoma. They were looking for land to purchase, dreaming of a new life, far away from the noise and stress of their current home. Bois and Sherilyn were known to keep to themselves. They didn't have a lot of close friends, and people in town said they were struggling financially. But the family had hopes of starting fresh in the quiet hills of southeastern Oklahoma. On October 8th, they set off into the mountains, planning to check out a plot of land, and then they disappeared. For 8 days, no one heard from them. No phone calls, no sightings, nothing. It wasn't until their truck was found, abandoned on a dirt road in those very mountains, that people realized something was seriously wrong. Here's where things get strange. The family's truck was still packed with all their belongings: Bois's wallet, Sherilyn's purse, and Madyson's beloved pet dog, who was still alive but barely clinging to life, locked inside. But the family? Gone. No sign of a struggle, no blood, nothing that could explain why they would leave their truck behind in the middle of nowhere. And even more unsettling, inside the truck was $32,000 in cash. Why would they leave behind such a huge sum of money? Search parties were launched. Law enforcement, volunteers, and even FBI agents combed the thick forest for weeks. But it seemed like the Jamisons had vanished into thin air. For 4 years, the case went cold. The only clues were the strange items left in the truck: money, a GPS unit, and a cryptic message found in Sherilyn's journal. There were rumors, of course. People started talking about how Bois and Sherilyn had been acting strangely in the months leading up to their disappearance. Some said they were paranoid, convinced they were being stalked by dark forces. Others believed the family had gotten involved in something dangerous, something that led to their deaths. But it wasn't until November 2013 that the truth, or part of it, came to light. In the fall of that year, hunters stumbled upon the skeletal remains of Bois, Sherilyn, and Madyson, lying side by side in the woods, just 3 miles from where their truck had been found. The discovery raised more questions than answers. The bodies were badly decomposed, and due to the condition of the remains, the medical examiner couldn't determine a cause of death. There were no signs of trauma, no gunshot wounds, no stab marks, nothing that could definitively explain how they died. But here's where it gets really creepy. Investigators found no reason why the Jamisons would have wandered so deep into the forest. They weren't hikers, and they weren't familiar with the rough terrain of the Bois Mountains. Some believe they were forced into the woods, but by who or what? As with many unsolved cases, the rumors began to spread. Some people believed the Jamisons were killed by a local cult. You see, Sherilyn had claimed that they were being haunted by spirits, dark, malevolent forces that were tormenting their family. In fact, friends said she had become obsessed with witchcraft, using Ouija boards in an attempt to communicate with the dead. Did they get too close to something they shouldn't have? Something otherworldly? And then there's the theory that the Jamisons were murdered because of drug activity. The area they were found in is known for meth production, and some believe that Bois or Sherilyn had somehow crossed paths with dangerous people involved in the drug trade. But if that's the case, why leave the cash behind in the truck? The investigation also uncovered strange footage from the security camera installed at the Jamisons' home. It showed Bobby and Sherilyn packing their truck on the morning they left. But what caught everyone's attention was the way they were moving, slowly, deliberately, almost as if they were in a trance. Over and over, they went back and forth from the house to the truck, placing items in the back, but never speaking to each other. It was eerie, to say the least. What was going through their minds? To this day, no one knows what really happened to the Jamison family. Was it murder, an accident, something supernatural? The theories are endless, but the truth remains buried in the remote wilderness of southeastern Oklahoma, where their bodies were found. And that brings us to the present. More than a decade later, the case is still unsolved. The authorities closed the case, ruling the deaths as undetermined. But the people of Eufaula, Oklahoma, they haven't forgotten. There are still whispers in town. Whispers about what really happened to Bobby, Sherilyn, and little Madyson in those dark woods. Pause. Silence. Maybe the answer lies out there somewhere in those dense trees. Or maybe it's something darker, something we're not meant to understand. Whatever it is, the Jamison family case remains one of the creepiest and most disturbing mysteries in Southern history. So, the next time you're out in the woods, just remember, not every mystery gets solved. And sometimes the darkest truths are the ones that stay hidden.